We are joined by Ezewuike, Head of International Relations at the NLC. Thank you very much for giving us your time. Your union, the NLC, says the federal government's proposed palliative cash transfers is a venture structured such that it robs the poor to feed the rich. We understand the federal government is looking at that plan again, but it was originally intended to benefit the poor. Why does the NLC believe it will rob the poor to feed the rich?
First, there are quite a number of issues surrounding the 8,000. The first challenge, who determined the 12 million poor Nigerians? When you cross that hurdle, what percentage of poor Nigerians does 12 million represent? Six. Now I'm taking it that the maximum number of children will be 4. Then plus the father and mother, that's 6. In the present circumstances, what can 8,000 naira do to a family in a day? And they are talking about a month. This is supposed to end in 6 months. What happens after 6 months? Within the 29th May to now, there has been a jump in the price of petrol. Mind you, because then we don't want to start talking about the challenges of not even being sure that anybody even gets the 8 million, the database you use, and all those. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
The NLC had previously shown a willingness to engage with the presidential committee set up to assess the consequences of the PMS price hike. But you're now saying the government's actions indicate a lack of trust and confidence in the committee's work. Should Nigerians who trust Labour to lead the way in speaking for the common man be worried that perhaps NLC and others are avoiding the direct engagement with the government?
This question is completely wrong.
Why, if I may ask? Go ahead.
Because you are putting it to look as if we are disappointing people in engagement. The government is supposed to summon the meeting, and they have not summoned it after 3 weeks. So are we the ones summoning it? We have agreed to be part of the discussion. We submitted the name of those who will be in the subcommittee. Those whose duty to call the meeting have not called the meeting. And we are supposed to finish that work. The committees are supposed to finish the work in 8 weeks. So how can it be an NLC problem that the meeting have not started? We've raised alarm to say this discussion is not going on. We've written the government to say what is holding this discussion. And even the starting of imagining a handout of 8,000 naira to a family, that doesn't make sense.
But it is the basis of that commitment, the comments given by the government, that you're having a conversation. That was why you backtracked from your initial stance.
No. Yes, that's the point I'm making. That commitment is not that you go and start talking about a handout. That commitment is that there will be a conversation between government and the labor and the civil society to agree on what should be done in the education sector, on what will be done in the transport sector, on what is to be done in health sector. And we have nominated people whose background in those areas. What do we do with the mass transit so that the cost of movement, which is the first crisis, will go down? How do we go to conversion of vehicles, providing alternative source of energy to driving, which is in the CNG? It is not for somebody to wake up and announce a handout of 8,000 to unknown 12 million families for 6 months.
Okay, the proposed disbursement, let's move a little away from that and ask you about the proposed disbursement of 500 billion naira palliative fund allocated about 15% of that money to catering for the 469 members of the National Assembly, which is about 0.01% of the country's population. Some people say this is just a reflection of the insensitivity that has plagued leadership in the country. What is your thoughts as to this? The informal sector that doesn't seem to get any actual things.
We've made our position clear. We've rejected the entire proposal of the disbursement of that fund. Like you rightly captured, point in time, with the level of pressure on the people, that people are contemplating and can have the audacity to want to increase the money that goes to the National Assembly, which already people have believed is too much and need to be reduced. We have been shouting that the cost of governance is too much. To contemplate increasing the cost of governance at this critical junction, where the ordinary people are rendered, even you are moving an army into the below poverty level, which has over 20 million people already, and you want to still raise the income of the already very rich people. It is the height of insensitivity. Even the idea that you should start giving people 8,000 to families means that somebody was not thinking. And there is a tweet going around which is claimed
all right, the network seems to be interrupting us. Mr. Ezewuike, we'll be expecting some action from the NLC in the coming days. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.